This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
Well, it's just been announced. Star Wars Episode 10 is slated for arrival December 2021. It's going to follow the exploits of Luke Skywalker and his son Starkiller. They're going to be traveling with Rey Kenobi and Finn Fett. Could you imagine if they did? Do you think fans would be happy if they just did every crowd fan service thing imaginable? Just like, everyone's connected, and I'm just joking. That would be brutal. Brock, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Just rambling because you made me start. This is your shtick is starting this thing. I was not prepared for this, and now I feel like I'm thrown under the Millennium Falcon as it takes young Chewie to school. But you're Brock. I'm James. Episode 203 of the Rebel Scum Podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Boom.
Shaborn.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, but you know how we should.
Good night, everybody. Boom.
But we're done. You know how we should actually start the show is our good friend of the show, Ray Park. We did a show on Friday and Unleashed on Friday where he posted on his Instagram account, "Meet me on Dathomir," and he had the Darth Maul sculpting, and then again on Monday he posted it, or Sunday or Monday he posted again, where he's in full getup, but he also has a stunt double or someone there with him also in gear, and he says always two there are or something, and he really seems to be trolling fans with the return of Darth Maul. And whether or not it leads to anything, I'm all for it. I'm so down with more Darth Maul, even if it is just on Ray Park's personal Instagram page.
Yeah, it's cool and stuff like that, but I don't know. I even saw an article on it. It's he's guaranteed that they're coming back. He's has he, or is he just posting pictures? I mean, it's too the picture's cool, don't get me wrong, keep posting it, but Mark Hamill posts stuff about Carrie Fisher. It's not by the way we're making it's no, this is from back in the day, so it's give a little bit more clarity, but I don't know, or just I don't know. I only know this stuff because you send it to me, because I don't care.
I just find it fun Twitter, that he's posting more Darth Maul stuff. I am all in on more Darth Maul.
Oh, for sure.
And like I said, we went to his panel at Celebration. It was a lot of fun. He had his little, the issues whenever the hell I can't honestly said this on Friday. Time means nothing to me, so I don't remember when those issues were. And then obviously, the whole Mandalorian actress fiasco that happened over the last little while. It seems like he's kind of putting out the flames a little bit by giving fans a little bit more Darth Maul. As you keep saying, they're all in. Disney, Lucasfilm, they're all in on Darth Maul. They're going to give us all the Darth Maul, and he seems to be aware of that enough that he'll throw that in our faces to kind of give us a nice, fun, positive distraction from the chaos that surrounds it, and I am all in on that.
Yeah. I'm curious. It's interesting because it's sort of I don't know. It's just interesting. Yeah, I'm it's exciting. I'm oh wow.
It's exciting without being exciting.
I don't know. I don't know what to feel anymore.
Yeah, it's
not even a matter of what will Star Wars? What does Star Wars want to do? Now it's just well, COVID, so everything's kind of slowed down. So it's like, well, I don't want to get excited about anything until something actually gets.
Well, they've shot. I think Book of Boba Fett is completely done now. Like they are done shooting that thing. Mandalorian, I believe, is sometime in April. Obi-Wan Kenobi seems to be in LA sometime in May, I believe. Cassian Andor is, I believe, on its way. A lot of fun stuff happening in Star Wars, with or without COVID. It's happening. I just have a lot of fun. Seeing, like I said, seeing the Darth Maul, and I like that behind the scenes stuff. And you don't need to be so, zeroed in on that is the behind the scenes of the Obi-Wan show. It doesn't need to necessarily be that. It doesn't claim that, and if he was in the Obi-Wan show and it was a surprise appearance, which again they would kind of have to recreate the Rebel scene, which we talked about in the last show. But do you think Lucasfilm would allow him to post that picture right now? He would probably be silent. If he did anything that would be like Sith related or Maul related, it would be him doing martial arts and being like, I love the Sith life, like something very subtle like that, without hinting to an appearance of Darth Maul.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We should keep tabs on this, or not keep tabs, just remember that, like, this down the line. Like, it makes me think of like WandaVision, where like Evan Peters is now in that show as Quicksilver, even though he exists in the Fox version of Quicksilver. So it's like, but that wasn't overly surprising because they announced he was in that show months ago. And it's like, well, who else could he possibly, if you're going to put a character in a show that has characters related to Quicksilver, is he going to be Quicksilver? Like, he shows up, and it's cool how he shows up in the show, and I love that show. But it wasn't that like shocking. You're like, yeah.
He was
so like that's incomparable. Incomparable to Darth Maul, it's just sort of like get excited, and then they're like, oh, perhaps he'll be in this. I don't know. Like, I guess it's hard to say. Like, he could pop up in a lot of things, so I don't know.
He could be the big bad in Andor. Wait, yeah, he could. He could. I'm not saying he is, but like it's a time period. It works out in that time period. Like, if who knows what that show's about? I'm guessing that show is not about getting plans for the Death Star. So, the only other thing it could be about is maybe like the beginning of the rebellion. It's probably going to be an adulty version of Rebels, I guess, to a point, in some ways, where he's going to join the rebellion because he's been in that war since he was 6 years old. But really, crime lords are ruling the outer rim of the galaxy right now, and that's so if you're going to fit them all in a show, Cassian, let's not sleep on Andor.
Yeah. Let's not sleep on Andor.
Unless it's Endor,
whatever.
Which I would sleep on Endor with the Ewoks, and we'd have a party, bonfires, be a good time.
Yeah, to the 6 moons of Endor. How many moons it is? The forest moon of Endor.
It is a forest moon. Yeah, no, I don't think a lot of people know that Endor is a forest. Like, casuals are like, it's a planet. They don't know it's a moon, and to that point, they do not care.
Absolutely.
No one cares that it's a moon, not a planet, because it's basically a planet anyway. But yeah, don't sleep on Darth Maul. Is really, don't sleep on Maul in Andor. I don't think if this was a Never Tell Me the Odds, my odds would be very low of him appearing in Andor. But at the same time, they could also here's an idea. They could also use Andor as a way to tie into Han Solo spin-off shows as well. Like the Solo movie, like they could take aspects of the Solo movie, is what I'm saying, and have Andor kind of intersect with those elements.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's so much. Just I don't know. It's Ray Park. It's hard to.
Oh, he's not in anything.
Take him completely seriously. No, I know, but it's like, yeah.
Has Warwick Davis appeared on The Mandalorian? I don't think he has. He has not, has he?
I don't think so.
I feel like he's got to show up. I think Whether he shows up in Mandalorian season 3, 4, whatever, I don't know. But you gotta believe that Filoni will throw him in maybe in Ahsoka. Like he's gonna throw him in on something because he's been a part of everything Star Wars, except for the original 2 movies. And they could, if they bring him in season 3 of the Mandalorian, that would be kind of, he shows up in the 3rd Star Wars movie. Now he shows up in the 3rd season of the TV show, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah. It's weird. Well, maybe he's just busy. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
He was the original.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, I was trying to think of like who's in there that's like short. Jawas, I guess. Like that's like the only really short character. I guess
Quill. It could have been Quill. Anyway, so who knows what's going on? But Ray Park's clearly having fun. I think it's more of a diversion from the negativity that's been going on in the world of Star Wars fandom on the social medias, and he's just kind of like, here's some joy. Look at this. Remember when we enjoyed Star Wars? Remember when we liked it? Let's enjoy it. I think that's more of what it is. It's also good PR for him after what he went through. So there's all of that too.
Yeah. For sure, but friggin' stop it, Ray. It's like,
oh, he's got so many pictures. They're all coming up.
How many more hypotheses do we have now? Man, your internet's so delayed.
I know. I'm tethering to my phone. I should stop. Screw it. No more tethering. You're gonna free. I think my phone now is slower than my my home internet.
Aaron
Aaron just had sent me a text. She's watching the Homeland show, which had Dr. Pershing on it, and Din Djarin was on it as well. Pedro Pascal was on it. They had those 2 actors were on the show. But anyway, she just discovered there's an 8th season, and she decided to text me 3 times to tell me how excited she is about that.
Nice.
Anyway, I'm not tethering from my phone. The internet seems to have been working a lot better.
You went pixelated, but whatever.
Well, hey, as long as you can hear me fine, I guess that's all that matters. Really.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a lot of fun. We got Randy Kenobi here asking a question, Brock. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So I have to go to you because I haven't read The High Republic yet because I am a fake fan. I'm not a real Star Wars fan, so I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Hold on. Oh, sorry, 1 second. I have to pull it up. Let me just grab this and get to it. And Randy Kenobi says, with the new context provided from the High Republic content that's come out so far, so nothing but, no assumptions, just everything we know so far, what tie-ins do you think we might see with that and The Acolyte on Disney Plus? And what tie-ins do you want to see? May the Force be with you. And may the Force be with you, Randy Kenobi. Thank you for your support. So, Brock, you've read the books. I haven't. I know who I think I would like to see tie into The Acolyte, but who would you like to see tie into The Acolyte based on these books?
It's hard to even hypothesize because, like, what is The Acolyte about? Like, who is The Acolyte? Because currently the villains are the Nihil and I forgot to say. I have the name in the leader of the Nihil is like kind of interesting. They write him as like a relatable character, and then by the end you're like, oh, this guy is evil. So he has an interest in the Jedi without actually being a Force wielder, which is interesting. So like an Acolyte could be somehow with that. I don't know. I guess like Acolyte sounds villainous, right? I mean, let's look up the definition of Acolyte.
So I was
it's usually religion.
So can you? Okay, you're gonna look that up, so you can't answer my question while you're looking that up. But what exactly are the Nihil?
They're like pirates, I guess. But like the big thing about them is they wear metal helmets, like masks, like twisted metal on their faces, and they will like attack other ships using like nerve gas that will like knock people out, and basically they'll take everything and pretty much kill everyone. It's like they're a swarm. They used to be like, in the book it says like they used to be an unorganized gang, but now this Martian Rowe, that's the villain leader. He's brought them together. So that's who they are. They're just bad dudes.
Is there a chance that leader is working for somebody else on the side? Or he's the puppet of somebody else?
No, I know what you mean. There's like no hints at that whatsoever, but I haven't finished the second book yet, so I could be wrong. Because he's pretty evil enough as it is, right?
Okay.
So it says here, acolyte is one who assists a member of the clergy in a liturgical service by performing minor duties. One who attends to assist a leader. Yeah. So like acolyte, we're taking it as like something menacing, but it doesn't necessarily, like, usually it's referred to like someone who's very like devoted to a cause. And I feel like acolytes has been used in Star Wars before, like,
well, acolytes are beyond from the Aftermath books also.
Sure. So like that's the thing. What is the acolyte? So it's hard to like make a call on that alone, and that's something you can ring in on too, because it's sort of like, ooh, interesting. And then also it's Leslie Headland's project, and she's saying it's there's a lot of martial arts happening in it, and it's female driven. So like,
and I think the reason why we're associating acolyte with villainous is, I think, partially because of probably those books, but also I believe they said that it'd be focused more on the dark side, like it's about a villain, like that's who it is. So I think I'm pretty sure when they announced it, that's what they announced, was that it focuses more on the villainous aspect, the dark side or something like that. So that could be why we automatically just assume that it's evil.
So yeah, I mean, with what we know so far in the High Republic, like the only villainy is really the Nihil. There is a presence of the dark side, but in the sense of like when Luke goes into the cave on Dagobah, that kind of sense of dark side. There's no one in there. It's just dark side exists in it. They actually reference like the dark side exists in plants. It's like so.
I'm thinking about the acolyte, and because it's going to connect to the High Republic. But if it takes place at the end of the High Republic, that has to lead us into the fall of the Jedi, which is the next timeline, right? So the acolyte would realistically be that bridge that gets us from the High Republic to the fall of the Jedi. Unless they, for whatever reason, decide to add another branch in there, but I don't think they will. That seems pretty set in stone, like that order that they gave us. Like, you know, this is that. They can add things to them, but I think those eras are what they are. And this is going to be that gap that bridges them, or the bridge that bridges the gap. Jeez. So I'm curious. Like, it's female driven. Sith. If Sith exists, they're in the shadows. You're learning, you know, all these new little things, like you said, about the dark side from these books and how the dark side is viewed and whatnot in the High Republic era, which should be translated into the show in some capacity. But also the show is the end of the High Republic era, and we don't know how long the High Republic era lasts for, right? And we don't know where in the High Republic era these books necessarily take place either. Are these books the end of the High Republic? Are they the middle? Are they beginning? Are they, you know, we don't, I don't think we know exactly where they are. So all of that, you know, all of those are questions that need to be answered before we can definitely connect these dots. It's always fun to speculate though. And the way you're describing the Nihil.
Yeah. Nihil.
They sound super cool and intriguing.
Yeah.
And they sound, and they're kind of like what you described, but like henchmen.
Yeah,
like
pretty well,
like a supervillain's henchman or something. You know, the Penguin's yelling at them to go take out Batman or go rob a van. So I mean, I from what you're saying and what I've read about everything, they seem the most obvious to bleed over. And I don't know about any of the Jedi characters because I don't know the time period that the books and the show take place. So is Avar Kriss dead by the time the Acolyte show starts? Yeah. Is she super old? I have no idea how you would put her in there, so I can't really say that. But those villains seem like characters that I would like to see in live action because, as The Mandalorian has shown us, masks rule.
Oh yeah, and the main villain has a mask. He'll take it off, but like that's the big thing. Like he'll wear it because I think he's referred to as the eye, and his is like a helmet with a big like glowing
nice
red thing in the center, more or less.
Oh, I've seen that picture.
Yeah. So like, yeah. I mean, it would be nice if Avar Kriss is somehow in that show, but it doesn't have to be because gauging on where exactly the books take place in this era, I would assume like you use a touchstone to figure out an era of time, right? So the emergence, which is like that ship blows up in hyperspace and then parts of it are literally emerging in different parts of the galaxy, and they're trying to like figure out where it's going to be to control any chaotic, a planet blows up because a piece of a ship hits it at like alarming speeds. So
a planet blowing up in Star Wars?
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
I would argue then that the beginning of the High Republic era is like that touchstone of the emergence. So I don't know. Like, I could be wrong.
Look, another cool thing that happened too, and I don't think half of what I'm going to say is based on what Leslie Headland said. I don't think it will, but Avar Kriss, for one of the Jedi that you're meeting now, that's the only name that I think I know of a Jedi. I haven't read it, like I said. It could act as an Obi-Wan type character, like an original trilogy Obi-Wan type character for new characters, for possibly a very young Qui-Gon Jinn even. I know there's Dooku is his, but but again, I don't think Qui-Gon will be around because even though there's the possibility that this will bridge a gap, I still think there has to be 50 to 100 years between these eras.
Yeah.
So,
but the Acolyte could have a lot of young Dooku, young Qui-Gon, young what's his face?
Mace
Windu, like, and then that's the cool thing. They're making an engaging story in High Republic so far, and they don't even have to include existing characters. But they can. That's still in their back pocket. You can drop in a Darth Plagueis, you can drop in a Palpatine at any moment. And you're like, oh!
Plagueis seems to be, you brought that up. Plagueis is like this character who everyone knew from Legends. But the Revenge of the Sith, there's that monologue that everyone loves and the memes love. And it's great. And it's a great backstory to the Sith kind of in the shadows emerging. But that story of Plagueis and then the Plagueis Palpatine story as well, those are two big, big, big Star Wars events that have not been touched.
Yeah.
There's the Plagueis novels, which are now legends, but they have not been touched. Exactly. And it's and that is a gold mine. And I'm not saying that should not be what the Acolyte is, if the Acolyte is separate. No. Unless the Acolyte is about young Sheevy P, whatever. But, what if they made Plagueis? Could Plagueis be a female, and that's the female-driven Acolyte, but the Acolyte is actually I don't know. It's just
there could be no Darth Plagueis too. That's the thing. Your source is Palpatine, and he's a liar.
But if that's the case, then that's also information that would be nice to have too.
Exactly. Interesting.
Could you? Oh my God! Can you imagine? First of all, I really think fanboys would lose their minds if that was the case. That would be the ultimate bomb to drop. There was no Plagueis. I made him up. That'd be awesome. All those memes, just a waste of time. I'm down though. Like I'm. Each week we do this show, and I talk to you, I get more and more intrigued on these books. Yeah. I'll probably get to them at some point, but until that Acolyte show, I guess even begins. I don't even think begins filming is what I should say. Until we see a piece of footage from it. Who the heck knows anything? Because, you know, if The Mandalorian gives us any indication, they're going to shoot stuff and we are going to be in the dark until they want us to be out of the dark. So we will see some character designs. I guarantee you, if something small from the books, you know, even something like, there could be big things from the books, but something small from the books will be, you know, the first Entertainment Weekly exclusive picture that we get or whatever, you know, like, and then, you know, you who read the book will be like, oh my God, that's on page 62 of the Light of the Jedi. And that's how it'll be. But we won't know anything else. And that'll be something small, kind of like with The Mandalorian, where they, you know, we said this all last year when there's like, Michael Bihn's in it. Oh, Bo-Katan's in it. Oh, maybe Ahsoka, but that's not the big thing. What could the big thing be? And of course, the big thing is Luke Skywalker. So even though we knew things that were coming, we didn't know the big thing that was coming.
Yeah. So that brings it back to like Ray Park, where it's just like Star Wars doesn't just let them do whatever the heck they want. So it's like, yeah.
And I really think that he's just doing this for, I said trolling as a joke to you earlier, but I think it's more just bringing excitement back and positivity back into Star Wars fandom and just being like, this is what we love. We don't like the other stuff is nonsense. Like, we shouldn't even be concerned with stupid things, you know, like, I didn't like Luke, I didn't like the green lightsaber, I didn't like, we shouldn't worry about that. We should enjoy. We should, instead of, you know, reveling in what we hate, we should share what we love, or whatever Rose Tico says at the end. But you need to like focus on the positives, not the negative. And, you know, we'll all live long, happy lives.
Yeah. So, I love High Republic. I really just not finished that book yet. It just was like I couldn't focus this week on reading. I hope to finish it this week. I think I have like 120 pages left. It's cool. Actually, I only read the first comic.
You did read a comic, I know that.
I can't remember if I've read the second one or not. But like it is really fun. But it's so fresh that it's like it's hard to remember all the names. It's like they've done this really good job of like they're like ensemble books so far, right? As much as Ava Chris seems to be at the forefront, that's just because that's what we were shown first, and we keep seeing her. She's on the cover. She's a main character in the book, and they set her up as like an important character, but like I wouldn't even say she's the main character of Light of the Jedi, right? So, and that happens in all the other books where it's like there's a strong female character, there's a strong male character, there's an eclectic supporting cast. I haven't told you this in the book I'm reading right now by Justine Ireland. Justine Ireland. That was the teen YA. Claudia Gray. It's the Jedi go on this ship, and the like navigator is a rock that apparently is like sentient. I don't know. I haven't gotten to a part where they actually explain it, but like the rest of the crew can understand him. They call him Geode. It's not his actual name, but he's like a sentient rock that's also like. So it's just like it's sort of it's interesting. I think the Lucasfilm publishing or the story group or whatever you want to call it, they're just sort of letting these writers like, okay, you've proven yourselves as Star Wars writers already. Now we have a whole like section to work with. Do whatever you want. So like the characters are really, really cool. Yeah, so I think that's as much as we could answer for Randy Skywalker. Everybody listening or watching or whatever you do with this, send us your thoughts and we'll read them. And then maybe we'll talk about it next week. I don't know.
Maybe next
week.
How
do these things work? We've done this for 203 episodes.
203 episodes, we don't have anything. rebelscumbags@gmail.com is how you can contact us. If you're on our Patreon, you can send us a message on Patreon. Also, we're going to do top 5 supporting characters from The Mandalorian later today. You got Hollow news coming up, and shortly we'll get to Never Tell Me the Odds. The future of Star Wars right now is a very exciting time. Somebody asked me the other day, like, how have you been talking about Star Wars for that long? And I was like, meh. There's always something new. Like, they keep coming with it, and we're going to keep enjoying it, until they stop making them, which is never going to happen. It's back in that dump truck full of money onto the Disney lot, so they're going to keep doing it, and I'm really wondering when we're going to get that one episode or series or movie where you and I leave it and we're like, yeah.
I don't know if I said this to you on a show or like in real life, or I said it to someone else. It's just sort of like I've come to a point, maybe it's my age, where I'm just interested in all of it, but it's just sort of like, I'll watch it. I'm more interested just to see how it adds. I don't even know if I care about quality anymore. Like, so because it's like I feel like when I read a novel, it's like, oh, how does this change something?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much like I would say I probably like the Charles Soule book more than the Claudia Gray book, but I don't want to make that final call till I finish the book. But you know what I mean? So I guess maybe I should be a little bit more critical. I do spend money on these things, so
that's an interesting point, because I believe you shouldn't. I believe, like, it's all subjective, but I think though when you watch something, you can enjoy it. When it comes to entertainment, you're allowed to enjoy it on whatever level you wish to enjoy it on. And I think if you just be genuine to your opinion, basically, right? Like if you enjoy everything based on that, then I think that's enough. And if people don't, then they don't. And if people like it because of this or that, that's fine. I don't think it's funny how Star Wars fans always need to justify why they like Star Wars. Like, I think Marvel might be good. I see a lot of like negative stuff on WandaVision coming up now, I guess because it's a hit show and you got to poo-poo a hit show. But like, so I guess Marvel fans may have to start doing it, but they generally have never had to be like, well, the reason why the Avengers Endgame was so good. Like they don't justify the Thanos snap. They don't have to. They feel like they're confident that they like something of quality. And Star Wars fans, for whatever reason, we have to justify everything about liking a Star Wars movie, and it's tiring and pointless because we like it. We don't need. I don't need to justify my reasoning for liking something to you, and you don't have to me. And that's how it's going to be. I by the way, I did enjoy last week's episode of the WandaVision. It was one of my favorites of the year, I would say. Because the week before, I was really, really ticked off that the 80s sitcom was 16 by 9. I'm still like... But the reason why it upset me, honestly, was, remember, like the first few episodes, they were working so hard to make everything perfect for the era, right? And then the 80s are like, eh. It's like they got tired. Yeah. It's like they just got tired and like, meh. And so...
Yeah, it seems odd. Unless, like, did they shoot in 16:9, but then...
Yeah, I'm guessing they were all shot 16. I unless they want you to start to feel like something's amiss here, and that's why they did it 16:9.
No, I mean, like, in actuality, in the 80s, were all cameras shooting 4:3, or when did 16 by 9 for the public wasn't till 2000?
It was probably the 90s though, because I'm pretty sure if you watch old behind the scenes of like Cheers and stuff, they've got like little 4x3 monitors on their. Has her shot like in front of a live studio audience on that? I don't. You know what? I don't know. Maybe, but either way, if the justification for her being in this world of old TV shows because she associated with what she watched on TV when she was a kid, she wouldn't have watched a TV show in the 80s and 16 by 9. So that argument is a moot point.
Outside of that, though, everything that they've done TV wise, like, is like spot on. Like.
Yeah, and that's why that stuck out to me. It didn't ruin the episode for me. Obviously, like, it just threw me every time. I'm like, no, you've been doing so well, and that, whatever.
But yeah, like, I mean, what new thing can you say about Star Wars right now that isn't like just like look at like here's a story and here's the characters, but like like High Republic feels different, but it's not that different, right? It's still the same galaxy. It still has evil people and good people. It still has Jedi and space travel. Like, that's Star Wars. Like, so there's not much more you can say in the Star Wars realm that is out there to blow your mind, right? Like, it's and I don't think you can do really that much, right? It's not even speculative.
But when you get to a certain point, does it stop being Star Wars anyway?
No, I don't.
Like I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just sort of like, oh, we have Leslie Headland. She made Russian Doll, and we have who's else coming up? Taika Waititi, and he made one of the best Mandalorian episodes, and he made Thor interesting again, and he makes amazing indie movies, and Jojo Rabbit. Like, it's like there's only so much they can do. It's not like gonna like, oh wow, they're not gonna reimagine the wheel. In my opinion, they could, but like, why would you? Like, why do you need to?
If you're going to, I think you go, because you know what you just said about Taika Waititi doing Thor Ragnarok is, I love that movie. Was I didn't like the first Thor too much. I thought the second one was okay, and the third one's I thought was fantastic. And it's different, but it lives within the same world and the same MCU world. He doesn't go outside the box on anything other than aspects.
The premise of like, it's like, oh, they tried to do this serious, but like it's a goofy premise to begin with. So let's make it fun. And like that's what Taika Waititi does on a daily basis, right?
Yeah, he sees the humor in life, and even in tragedy, he sees the humor. But he lucked out with Chris Hemsworth as Thor, who can do comedy.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine somebody like another actor in that spot that just could not? Like, not everyone could do that, and Mark Ruffalo has those chops as well. So, and then bringing in Jeff Goldblum was brilliant.
Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's I just feel like when you make a Star Wars film, you're just building on another thing. You know, here's your sandcastle, and you keep adding to the sand. It's like when you're at my house, you can't see it, but like my wall of pops. It's like, you know, it's great. Just like, wow, look at all these different things, but like it doesn't make it anything new. It's just more and more and more and more, right? It's just like, oh, this is very nice. You seem to like this. Like, there's nothing deep into it outside of the fact like I like to spend money on little toys. Like,
but that's what you like. It's like when people criticize a band because all their songs sound the same. But the reason why you like that band is because of the sound of the band. I guess it's a catch-22 on why people like certain things. But that's what it is. We like Star Wars because of whatever the hell it brings us. Yeah. As long as it continues to give us that, we're going to continue to like it. And that's going to be that when it comes to Star Wars. Eventually, though, someone's going to make a clunker. Like, I'm sure there's a Funko Pop that you saw and you went, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Even though it probably looks very similar to one that you have, there's something about it that just like it's off-putting to you, right? Like, and that's how Star Wars is going to be. There's going to be a Star Wars movie that comes out. And for some people, it's Last Jedi. For some people, it's The Rise of Skywalker. For some people, it's all three of the prequels. And for some people, it's the original trilogy because they're terrible movies. No, I'm joking. New Hope is the most underrated Star Wars movie ever made. That's just a fact.
I think it's the original, so it's just like,
I know. So everyone's really just like, but it's people. And I'm saying this as like to me, like I'm criticizing myself on this one. Like when you're like it's solid. Anyway, you want to go to the odds?
Let's do it.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. Brought to you and me and James by the wonderful people that support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Check it out. Support us if you can. Thank you very much. If you do. If you don't, that's cool. Thank you for watching us or listening to us or however you are ingesting our content. The wonderful people that do support us are the following bunch. Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Standiforth, Sooner Thrawn, Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W.,
Rez, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, D. Raven, Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Aaron Quinton, Jericho Kane, Denna Nerds, and the Girls with Sabers.
Now, does Randy Skywalker fall on this list?
Randy Kenobi.
Randy Kenobi, sorry, you just wrote on the.
Yeah, I got
email.
excited. Randy
cool,
Kenobi
cool.
right up there. Yeah, Brandon, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. You will be added to the list. What are today's odds, Mr. James?
Did you not get Randy on your list?
I don't see it.
That means I sent it to you before I updated it.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
right.
man.
You just move. You see that we've made a mistake and you move past it like I was doing, but okay.
No, we're going to call it up because this is a dear supporter of ours, and we're going to give Randy Kenobi their due. And thank you for your support. All right, never tell me the odds.
Yeah, move past it.
Never tell me the odds. Will Luke Skywalker appear on the Ahsoka show? Will we see Luke Skywalker appear on the Ahsoka Tano show?
I'm gonna go low because I actually was thinking about this recently. I'm like, does Ahsoka know who Luke is? Because Luke isn't closed off from the Force at this point. Perhaps Ahsoka is, but because we don't really know what happens to her after she's yanked out of the world between worlds by Ezra. So I'm gonna go low, 20%. I mean, that would be cool, but like for some reason I feel like they want to distance these two.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about Luke. I said from the minute, I'm done. I'm fine with Luke. I think his story is good and gone. If they need him for whatever reason, fine. I do think it'd be nice. There's potential for a moment between Ahsoka and Luke that could be very nice because of her association with his father and whatnot. But is it necessary? I don't know. I haven't seen any of these scripts, but I'm gonna go low as well. I'm gonna go 17% because I think Luke was so impactful and people loved it and some hated it, but it was such a great moment in the Mandalorian season finale, that you keep going to that well and you're going to get tired. And you don't want to do that to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
He's had his moment in the Twin Sons. Our next one, will we see a High Republic Jedi in live action? We kind of touched on this briefly in our chat, but will we see any Jedi from the High Republic books or comics appear in a live action show or movie?
I think absolutely at some point, but I don't know when. I feel like in 20 years, if they're still doing this, someone's definitely going to drop it in. Like, and I say 20 years, like someone who's reading it now as a youngster, a teenager, or whatever, who then will later become a part of film or TV and works for Lucasfilm and writes this all out. Is like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we drop this old character in here, or like a scene or like some reference to the High Republic? I can see that happening. I think they'll try to do it sooner, because this question reminds me of like comics where like they think somebody is a huge fan and is also a writer or an artist, and they're like, oh, do you remember like 30 years ago they had this one character? What if we brought him back and we gave him a metal arm and we called him the Winter Soldier? So I'm going to go 80%. I just don't know when, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go 79. I'm with you. I don't know when, but how do you not? I mean, it could be sooner than later, too. Yep. If the High Republic, I think every single one of the novels has reached number one in some on the New York Times bestseller, I believe. So if these books are a hit and people are enjoying these books and you have intriguing characters, why not put them on TV, on Disney Plus? Yep. We're all dying for new content on Disney Plus. Yep. We're getting, all those Marvel shows. And there are a lot of Star Wars shows coming, true. But aside from Boba Fett and Mandalorian Season 3, nothing is really concrete yet on what we're getting. Or Andor. And I still don't... I'm still not going to put Obi-Wan in there, but Obi-Wan's happening. But like there's just keep toss. There's 52 weeks in a year. Right? 52? 52 weeks a year. That's a lot of shows you could throw in. That's 5 series of 10-week episodes, right? And then 2 weeks off for us to breathe and chat. So, just give us more. All right, our final odd, will Fennec Shand be on Boba Fett, Mando, and Ahsoka? Will Fennec Shand appear on 3 of those 4 connected shows?
You know what? I'm going to go 100%. I guess Ahsoka might be the one that she's least likely to show up on. But for sure gonna be in Boba Fett. She's definitely in Bad Batch. To not put her in Mando after being in both first 2 seasons, don't make new characters. Just keep bringing back the other ones. And like they said, all these shows are going to connect, so that's an easy.
The one thing with not creating new characters, though, and Mando, I think, is a different animal because he goes different places. Like, if you never brought back Grief Karga or Cara Dune, I don't think I would have batted an eye. Yeah, because he just keeps bouncing around. So I do appreciate what you're saying. Like, don't bring in new characters if you have old ones that we all love. That's fine. But also, I mean, it kind of fits his storyline that he's bound to meet new characters.
I mean, I'm focusing a lot on this whole, all these shows are going to interconnect in some way. Like, you can make new characters in each show, but, limit it because if you create a character in Ahsoka, that character can go to Mando at some point.
Yes.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but, right? So that's how I kind of see it. It's you'll create characters, but only as you gain more shows. So it's just a small... I mean, it's Star Wars. You don't really want that, but I like what Mando's done so far. But anyways, I'm sticking with 100%. I think Ming-Na is yes, put me in all of the Star Wars, please.
And everyone's down for it, so you might as well. I'm going to go I'm going to go 71, 73, whatever percent, somewhere around there. It's a good chance. Why not? You have her. She's available. You're shooting everything in front of a freaking TV set anyway. It's not she could go in one day and be like, you're going to do all 3 series right now. Say this line, say that line. Say that. All right, you're good to go. And then all of a sudden, she's on 4 different shows, and you don't even whatever. She's like, I didn't even know I was on that show. Kind of like Gwyneth Paltrow being in Spider-Man Homecoming. She's like, I didn't know I was in that movie. Like, yeah, you were. So that's look, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. A lot of exciting stuff coming up with it, and Thrawn is the key to Disney on Star Wars. Maybe we'll talk about that a different week, but he's coming. Thrawn is coming. Hollow News?
On Thrawn Kong.
Thrawn-uary. Thrawn Kong. Okay, you want to go to the news?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hollow News. Da 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 da. Hollow da 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 da. I'm reaching into my microphone now. Hollow News.
All the news you need to know right now. Head on over to StarWars.com because they got the exclusives. They are excited to reveal this week that a mysterious and striking teasing image from Marvel of a very legendary bounty hunter. That's right, Boba Fett. We don't know. It's a teaser image. We don't know if it's a cover. It's just an image of Boba Fett. He's depicted with a blaster in one hand and a spear in the other, standing in front of a wall that looks shelled from heavy fire, and the words of Boba Fett, "Nowhere to hide," grace the bottom of the teaser. And StarWars.com, I mean, as of this recording, it's saying tomorrow they will reveal what it is. So probably by the time this comes out, it will be up. So go over to StarWars.com and find it out. It's from Marvel, so... Anyways, moving on. Earlier this week, a Twitter account dedicated to posting vintage pictures shared a set of image of Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill on the set of Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, in which Mark Hamill happily retweeted to share more context. The photos themselves are likely to spark a huge wave of nostalgia for Star Wars fans. They offer up a lovely glimpse of what life was like for the actors behind the scenes of one of the biggest movie franchises of all times. And then Mark Hamill chimed in with his own what the picture, what was happening, what was going on. It's basically just him and Carrie taking a picture together. He says it was on the first day of Empire in Finns, Norway. She had no scenes there, but came along just to hang out and not miss any of the fun. She always regretted not coming to Tunisia for Star Wars. It was also a way to make sure she got her own crew snow jacket. And yes, I still have mine. And then he ended with #true story. So that's fun. It's a really nice picture. Check it out. I wish I could have one of those jackets. And we were already talking about High Republic. Well, guess what? High Republic will be releasing an exclusive cover for High Republic number 3. It's going to be that Wanted Comics variant cover featuring the art of Will Sliney. Is stunning image of Martian Row, like Martian. This is probably the first time I've ever said it in real life, that character's name. He is the main villain in High Republic right now. He's the leader of the Nihil. And the picture, you can check it out, I think on StarWars.com, but just type in High Republic number 3. You will see he's in his usual getup as described in Light of the Jedi, but he's holding what looks like a gun, and out of it is coming a lightsaber, which if you've read Light of the Jedi, he takes a Jedi's lightsaber at the very end of the book. So he has a general interest in the Jedi and how their powers work. So here's a little taste of what might be coming in the future of High Republic. Keep in mind though, it's Marvel Comics, and a cover page or a cover image doesn't necessarily mean something that's going to happen in the actual story. But it's a cool image, so go check it out. And this has been your Holo News.
Great stories. Thanks for ruining the ending of Light of the Jedi. Now I don't have to read it. That's always a blast. Yeah, that the Boba Fett thing is intriguing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It could be a fun ride. It could be a. I mean, I guess they know what's happening on season 1 of the Book of Boba Fett, so it could tie into that. It could show us how he ends up on without his armor on Tatooine, things like that. So there's a lot of, but it looks like this is after all that. Who knows what the hell this is? He's got his gear on, right? So looks like it's gonna be a good time. Are you gonna buy it?
I don't know. I haven't been reading as many comics. I like to save my money.
You're too busy on the High Republic. You're all in on High Republic. All right, want to go to top 5?
Top 5. What's today's top 5?
Top 5 supporting characters from The Mandalorian. So obviously no Din Djarin and no Grogu. You can't have Din or Grogu, but you can have basically anybody else except for Din or Grogu. I'm just gonna start. Yeah, IG-11 is my number 5. I was, there's season 1 had some great characters, and IG-11 was one of them. And there's always like those shows that come out and there's a character or two in the first season and they get killed off and they're kind of forgotten by season like 12. And IG-11, if this is only a 4-season show, fine, but I feel like he's going to be a beloved character, but forgotten also. It's going to be a weird thing where you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a great character. And then, that'll be that. There won't be many cosplayers dressing up as IG-11 at a celebration.
I would love to see that. I'm sure someone's done it. I just, how would you even do that? It'd be like a puppet or something. So you wear all black or something.
You just wear like green screen and around with a puppet. So, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Tracker Wolf, whatever it is. Dave Filoni's character. He is the new era of reoccurring X-Wing pilots. So give a shout out. I love it. He doesn't even say anything in season 2, but he's there. That's all that matters.
I wonder if Filoni cursed at Favreau. Favreau's like, "You're gonna be this guy," and he's like, "Right. But I'll do it because I love it." My number 4 is Grief Karga. Big Grief Karga fan. I I personally would like to see more of Grief. Actually, Grief Karga is my number 3, but I'm going to put him number 4 because I set it out of order. I want to see more Grief Karga. I don't want him because of what's going on. I don't really want him in Rangers of the New Republic because of his character arc, but at the same time, I would follow him onto that show because I want more Grief Karga. Give me more Carl Weathers, and I am good to go.
My number 4 is going to be Casca Reeves, aka Sasha Banks.
Nice.
From season 2. She returned. That's cool. It's nice to see Mandalorians that take their helmets off. So, and I follow Sasha Banks on Instagram already, so I'm just like, yeah.
I hope you. I hope your number 1 is Axe Woves.
It actually absolutely is. Why would you ruin my list?
my number 3. The Armor is supposed to be number 4, but my number 3 is the Armor. I like the Armor. I want to know more about this character. And the Armor has one of my favorite moments from the series when she crushes those stormtroopers in the season 1 finale or the second last, whatever one episode that is. She crushes those stormtroopers. Love that moment. She's very mythic and mysterious as well, and there's a lot going on there, and there's a reason why Mando follows her, and I'm anxious to learn more about the Armorer.
My number 3 is going to be Mythrol. I just can't remember the characters. Horatio Sands. Again, it's just like a character dropped into the first season and all of a sudden is like back again. I'm like, yeah, and he's just fun. It's like it's nice to get characters that aren't like there to like help or hinder the heroes, even though he does. No, he gets forced to help them, right? Like he's just there. He exists, but he doesn't really want to do anything, but he's kind of pulled along. I like characters like that where it's just like, yeah.
And he is like the first character we're introduced to in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
In the series. Mando walks in, he's there, and that was like our first Star Wars TV series had Horatio Sands as the focal point, which is incredible. My number 2 is Mayfeld. I liked Mayfeld in the first season, but in the second season, in that one episode, he just like that scene with him and the Imperial. That Imperial almost made my list but the character, it's more everything about that scene is just one of my favorite scenes that goes on, and you really get an understanding of the Empire. And then the thing is, and maybe this was around when George Lucas had it, but the one thing with this new era of Lucasfilm, since whenever they made Legends started their new stuff, was you really saw Imperials that didn't want to be Imperials, like the defectors and people like that who didn't fully believe in the cause but kind of were forced into it. And I really like seeing that part of Mayfeld in season 2. And again, just like Luke Skywalker, just like a bunch, I don't care if he ever comes back. Frank, like I'm good. Like I've had enough Mayfeld. That's fine. We're good to go. If he does, great. But at the same time, I'm not begging for more. I'm not dying for more. I've got enough. But I just thought that episode 2 specifically was a phenomenal character development for that guy, Mayfeld.
My number 2 is going to be Dr. Pershing because
nice.
It's just like, yeah, tell me more. Is he alive? Is he dead? I can't remember, but like, I just want to know what he's doing. Why is he wearing a cloning jacket? And what is he doing with Grogu's blood? I want to know. And
the actor, I don't remember his name, loved being a part of it. Nothing but nice things to say. Yeah. Super stoked. And you know what? That is as small a thing as that is. It's nice to just see, like when you are an actor, I think, and working in that industry, it's nice to see that you appreciate a role that you've got in a franchise such as Star Wars. That is, I think, you know, we say this all the time, like Sam Witwer is a great ambassador for the brand. You need people like that. And he's one of them. And an intriguing character to boot. My number 1 is the only character that matters on this show, and that's Quill. And I have spoken.
My number 1 is the only character that matters on this show, and it is Pelimoto, Amy Sedaris, the wonderful mechanic on Tatooine. If she's not in every episode or every season, at some point, I'm going to be really disappointed. I understand she doesn't really leave Tatooine, so it means you have to keep going back to Tatooine.
But Book of Boba Fett is right there.
Yeah,
Imagine she gets hired by Boba Fett.
Yeah.
You know what, Jon Favreau? She's been in a few Favreau stuff, most notably, of course, Elf. Everyone loves her in Elf. Yeah. And sure, whatever, bring them all in. That's our top 5. Let us know what your top 5 are. And I just got a text right now. Do they recast Cara Dune or just move on without her? Dune. Typo.
Who'd you get that from?
It's from my friend Steve. Do they recast Cara Dune or just move on without her? We're not going to talk about it, are we?
No, just move on.
I'm all about the moving on. Like, all these other characters I mentioned that I don't care. Cara Dune, she was not needed after episode 3, season 1, frankly. Like, the reason why she came back was because, to your point earlier in this podcast, why create new characters when you've got old characters? That's basically why she came back, and now you have a chance. Like, and your number, 4? Casca Reeves? Is that her name? Casca? Yeah. There's your replacement right there. You've already created your replacement for Cara Dune. Yeah. I mean, not really, because they're very different. But you know what I mean. Like, you could just slide her. She loves another great ambassador for the brand. Slide her in, make her role bigger. We're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's What are we gonna? We can't control what these people are doing in the outside world. I don't know. I don't know if there's much to be said more about Cara Dune, but I don't write the stories, so I can't really make that call, right? So,
but that's the thing. I mean, my guess is, Brock, that she was meant to no longer be part of the Mandalorian show, and she was going to move on to the Rangers of the New Republic. And then when all this stuff happened on social media way back in like November before the investors call, they kind of took her off of that, and they said, "We'll wait for the dust to settle on this, and then you'll be part of it." And the dust never settled, and now they're just like, "No, you're just not part of it." And that's what I feel. But I'm okay because even if that show doesn't happen, we weren't promised Book of Boba Fett at that point. Now we are. So they can even be like, no, that show was a decoy for the Book of Boba. They can lie to us like that.
I was just laughing.
Okay. Episode 203. We're going to wrap this up. Brock, anything you want to say?
Happy Family Day to Canadian fans.
I
believe
Ontario.
American. Oh, it's just Ontario. That's right. No, well, yeah, you're right. Just Ontario, but there is other provinces that have a holiday today or this week.
Quebec has a holiday every other Monday, I believe. So
nice.
They have the most, I think, in Canada. And them are like Newfoundland have like the most in Canada.
Yeah. But anyways, read High Republic. Yeah, that's it. Okay, bye.
All right. He's Brock. I'm James. This is episode 203 of the Rebel Scum podcast. And that guy beside me was always Scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.